There you
Hello
go.
again.
There you go. Hi again. So, Crystal, tell me how's your day treating you so far?
My day, you said?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Just a little bit busy, but it's a good kind of busy. I prefer being busy than. Oh no, why is my? Sorry, my phone is deciding.
Now I can't hear you. I don't know if you can. I can hear you now, I think.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
here we are. Cool, we're good. Yeah, my phone was doing a weird thing where it was trying to turn the screen off, and I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I have like that issue like every now and then, or sometimes I would be just receiving phone calls, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, so I fixed that, we're good, we shouldn't have any more interruptions. Yeah, so as for my day, I've just been completing self-tapes, getting ready for a really big shoot tonight in Seattle. Well, actually it starts tomorrow, but I'm driving up tonight. I'm finishing, I know we're gonna get to that bullet point here about Love After Life. I'm the lead actor in that film, and I'm gonna be on set all day tomorrow, and we're gonna hopefully wrap it up. It's
that sounds like a plan.
Exciting, so. Yeah.
That sounds like an awesome plan. Well, first of all, welcome to the show. It is so cool to have you here, like someone as talented as you. So before we start, I have to give you an epic welcome. So if you have seen like some of my episodes, you know exactly what I'm about to do. If not, that's fine. Let me show you that. It's an epic intro, I know.
I feel welcomed.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So, starting with the whole interview now, tell me like how your acting career started.
Well, that's a fun story. So I was in college at Binghamton University, which is in the town I grew up. I was gonna go to med school to be a doctor, totally different. And my aunt was actually also an actress. Her name was Darlene Flugel. She unfortunately passed away from early onset Alzheimer's disease. But I was always very inspired by her, and I always had an imagination and loved creating and doing like live action role play and things like that. I just never really thought that like I could be an actor and do it as a career. So basically I noticed, because I was planning to take the medical school admissions test, and I felt really unhappy with where I was at. I didn't really like what I was doing. I just didn't feel really inspired, and I felt more stressed than anything. And I started thinking like, what would actually make me happy? What is it that I really want to do? And I kind of did a lot of soul searching actually, and I had a dream about my aunt Darlene, after she passed, saying that I should just go, like, follow my heart, go for it, you know, like what we were talking about earlier about the sky's the limit. So I just decided, I'm just gonna look into it and see how it goes. So I started going to a film meetup in my town, and I really loved it. I did a little bit of small things in my town before, and I love being on set and meeting people. And then when I moved out here to the Pacific Northwest, I took classes, and I never looked back. I'm always in classes, and I love it. It's a lot of fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's so interesting, right? That whenever you were like like doing something else, that if it is not your passion or like what you love the most, like regardless of how many hours you will put to it, it's just not going to connect. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like I've done a lot of things, and I feel like the thing that makes me the most happy is doing what I'm doing. Oh, hello, dog. Yeah, I have a dog now. So can you give me just 1 second so I can open the door to him, because he gets like someone's here. So just give me 1 second. So I can open.
Sure, no worries.
Otherwise, he's gonna destroy like the whole room, and I don't want that. Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, we don't want that. Oh, hi, Rico. You there? Hello. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah.
So, I mean, I live with 3 dogs, so you can imagine how chaotic it can be sometimes. I mean, one is Husky.
Sounds great.
That's the one who is like screaming the most. I mean, those dogs, they don't bark, they scream. So, and I have like a pit bull, which is a puppy, and I have another one that it looks like a collie. I mean, I'm not sure because he's adopted, so I don't know. I'm actually getting a service dog in a few months. He's gonna be a golden retriever. Yeah. So as you can hear, this.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a husky, all right. I can certainly
yeah.
tell.
Yeah, like those guys, they just like, and they're like so dramatic, you know. Like the other day, I took him to the vet, like to cut his nails. Oh my god, he was like screaming, yeah, like he was so dramatic about it, and he was just screaming. Like I had to pretty much like wrestle him, so he could be stay. No, it was just like horrible. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I love huskies, but I don't know that they seem like a very challenging dog to own. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean they are super intelligent. They're super cute and awesome. But yeah, they're like they're like so dramatic, and they like to. I mean, as I said, I mean they don't bark. They just scream or
Owl. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, so moving on back here, so yeah, so as I was saying here, it is so interesting that whenever, like, it doesn't matter like what you do, if it's not what you love, it's not going to connect, and then like once you find like your passion or what makes you happy, like from there things go by themselves. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like I said, once I started, it just kind of kept going, and I've never turned back. And I love what I'm doing, and I plan on just doing this forever. I also, my second passion, like right next to acting, is martial arts. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My buddy Billy just joined. He rolls with me at CTA Hillsborough, in the Pacific Northwest. So I love my acting and my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That about completes my heart.
There you go. That is awesome. Yeah. Now, in 2017, you began your career in acting and modeling, right? So tell me, what were some of the challenges that you had when you were starting?
Well, like everybody who's starting, I had no idea where to go, what to do, how to just become an actor and a model, especially because I was in a very small town, Binghamton, New York, as I mentioned before. There's not like a lot of acting classes there, or a lot of groups or community, like not much at least. Like I said, I started going to like the film meetups, and that kind of got me started, but it was definitely challenging being in a small town and not really having just that whole community. Like even in Portland here, it's not LA or New York City, but we still have acting community, lots of different classes. And I also had to get headshots. There weren't really a lot of headshot photographers in my area, and I mean, it was just like the whole anxiety of like trusting people when you're going to model for somebody that you never met. Like, you know, is this safe? Like, you don't know as many of the red flags, or you know what to look for to know, is this like a legit project, or you know, am I just being led on, or are there weird intentions or something like that? So it can be really tricky starting out a new career, especially in the entertainment industry, where a lot of people will try to take advantage of the new green people, so to speak. So.
Yeah, that is true. Now, in 2018, you were in the short film Tele. You played as Jess Thompson. Tell me, was that like your first film, and what were some of the things that you learned from that first experience?
Yeah, that was essentially my first project. Yeah, actually, it was kind of funny because it was a last minute thing. I was with a few friends who, my friend Ulrich, who's an actor in Binghamton, which is my hometown, and then I was with him, and we had gone out to somewhere in upstate New York. I think it was Utica, yeah. And his friend was just like, oh yeah, you want to have a small role in this film I'm creating? And I was like, yeah, because this was like my first opportunity. Yeah. It was pretty cool. He was a really nice guy. I learned a lot. It was definitely before my acting classes, so now I look back at it and I'm like, wow, you know, like I just started. That was the first time I was ever on camera being a character. You know, I mean, I could have done it differently today, but it was a good start, and I'm really happy that I did it and I got the experience. You know, I had gone a few hours out of town, and it felt really great to be on set, so to speak, even if it was a small set and it was a start. I learned a little bit about just how the process works, you know. Learned a little bit about like director of photography, the director, and just different things like that, just being in that kind of situation for the first time.
Wow. Now that same year you were in many more films, such as Writer's Gambit, Tears in the Woods, and Guardian Devil. So tell me about your characters in those films, and what are some of the things that you like the most about those projects?
Oh yeah, so Guardian Devil was actually my second film that was also in Binghamton, and the fun thing about that is I had helped produce that film, so I actually got us a filming location at my university at the time, which was cool. So my character her name was Mrs. Smith. She essentially, I don't want to give too much away, but she essentially was involved in a murder, okay? And her attorney, who I mentioned earlier, my friend Ulrich, he was my co-star, and I miss that guy. We're a good pair. So he was my co-star, and he was an attorney, and he was a little bit... There's something kind of ethereal about him, I'll say, because I don't want to give it away, but he knows more than he should, and he's telling me things about my life that I've never told anybody, and I'm just kind of like, whoa, how do you know all this stuff? And he ends up kind of getting me a deal, so to speak, where I don't get charged for the murder, and somebody else gets framed for it, sort of. So it's like, it was kind of cool. It was interesting writing, an interesting premise. I had a lot of fun because I kind of helped put it together with the location and stuff. Awesome cast and crew. Writer's Gambit actually was a really interesting film because it was kind of like, I don't want to say a silent film, but there wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was kind of like a story that you just visually see what happens, and it's like a horror film, so perfect for the time of the year we're at now. But essentially, I'm a writer in the film, and there's like, as I write, weird stuff starts happening, and I'm basically trying to figure out what's going on, and there may or may not be monsters involved. It's pretty cool. So, and then Tears in the Woods, sadly we never finished, but I got to work alongside my friend Allie, who lives in the Pacific Northwest. She actually lives kind of close to me where I live now. And she's a really talented actor, really fun to work with, really sweet, and we kind of just got to act in this film and do some scenes together, which it's funny because I'm reprising that role of this character, Detective Mara, who is in this Tears in the Woods. I'm going to reprise her role and do another film with her, and maybe Tears in the Woods will end up being released because of that. We will see.
That's so cool. Wow. Then in 2019, you were in Darkest Friendship, my future voice podcast, Morbid Stories, and Scars of Ancient Futures. So tell me also about those projects.
Yeah, so Darkest Friendship was filmed up at my dad's cabin in New York.
Okay.
That was fun because my buddy Ulrich was in it, and my friend Scott helped, or he wrote it actually and directed it, and it was just a really kind of fun cast between friends, and my dad was there and his girlfriend was there, and it was just really fun. Really good times. We filmed it all outside. The one thing that was really difficult was I was wearing a leather jacket, and it was like 90 degrees out in New York, so I was like pretty much dying the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's the life of being an actor. Sometimes it's just being really uncomfortable, but just acting, and sometimes it can be really challenging if it's cold or hot or So, and then the Future Voice podcast was my good friend William Nunn. He popped in here at one point, I think. If you're still in here, hi William. He's a really good friend of mine, really talented voice actor. He does voice podcast. I was on that, and he put it up on IMDb. So basically we kind of like made our own little characters, and he does a D&D podcast as well. We also did, he created an audio drama, which is, I know it sounds like a drama, but it's actually like a comedy, and it's really silly.
Okay.
You can find it on YouTube. So that's kind of why it's labeled as my Future Voice podcast, but it's actually that audio drama he created, which is called On the Contrary.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Scars of Ancient Futures, we kind of started, it's kind of similar to the same like anthology that Tears in the Woods is involved with. We're still kind of working on it. We haven't finished that one yet either. Sometimes when you start a project, things come up and you don't get to finish them right away, but yeah, so I think I hit all the bullet points on those projects.
Yeah. Now, on your website, it says that you were the lead in many projects, such as Love After Life, 71%, Blur, Braces, Charlie. So tell me as well about those projects. But also tell me about your characters too.
Sure, yeah. So Love After Life I had kind of briefly touched on earlier. I'm the lead. I'm so excited for this film. Like, I can't even tell you how excited. And I don't want to give a lot away because it's just so... It's like one of those things where it's just, you gotta watch it. It's so good. So I'm the lead in that, and I'm working alongside my friend Josh and our really talented writer and director Jeremiah Kanor. He's up in the Seattle area. So basically, I'm playing a character so I'm dating Josh's character essentially. And I'll say that the themes of the short film deal with depression and suicide and love and loss, because I don't want to give away anything that happens, but basically you get to see my character struggle through some of those themes, you know, and it's just really powerful, and really, you know, like I already filmed about half of it so far. I'm actually going up to film the rest of it. We'll be filming tomorrow. I'm going up tonight to Seattle, to Portland, about a 3.5 hour drive for me. So yeah, I can't wait till, we'll probably put it through the festival circuit first, I would think. But hopefully eventually it can be released and I can show people, because very excited for this one. It's I've done a lot of comedy. I've done some drama too, but I've done a lot of comedy, and this one's really gonna put me through like the emotional drama. I get to show the dramatic chops, you know.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I'm super excited. 71% is another one I'm super excited for. That one I was the lead in. It's a feature film. I filmed it down in Coos Bay, which is on the coast, the Pacific Northwest. That one's really cool. It's actually currently undergoing editing. I think it's almost done and ready to go into the festival circuit. I'm kind of just playing a young girl named Preston, who's, I will say, I'm going to call it kind of a coming-of-age story in a weird way. It's like kind of like a family drama coming of age, but there's a lot of like cool tidbits in it where I'm kind of this like angsty teen, we'll say. I'm an angsty teen, and I'm just kind of going through what I'm going through. I've dealt with some loss in my family, and you know, I'm trying to rebuild my relationship with my sister, and it's kind of really cool, kind of gives me like 90s vibes, you know. It's a really good one. I can't wait for people to see that one.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, so that one should be going through the festival circuit soon.
Okay, that's so interesting. Wow, like you have like been involved in so many things here and there. That's so interesting. And the fact that you just said that you're going into that you are going to play like this emotional side for being like doing like a lot of comedy here and there, that is like a step up, you know.
Yeah, Braces was kind of my comedy debut. As you can see, I have braces. I'm getting them off on Thursday. So it was kind of like this whole thing where people were saying, oh, you can't be an actor with braces or blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, my friend, a good friend of mine, Jason Rosenblatt, he actually created this script about a guy who wants to touch this girl's braces, and it's like super weird.
Okay.
It's on YouTube, actually. You can see it on my YouTube or my website, or not my website, actually, just my YouTube, Vimeo. You can find it on there. But that's actually still going through the festival circuit right now.
Okay.
Speaking of braces, we actually just got we're a finalist in the Portland, I think it's the Portland Comedy Festival or something. I don't want to say this wrong. Let me see exactly where. I'll check it later, but we're a finalist because we put our movie in a bunch of different film festivals. Right now we're a finalist in one of them. I think it was for Best Romantic Comedy. So we'll find out soon if we actually win the award, but I mean, hey, even being a finalist is pretty cool. So,
yeah, totally, absolutely.
Yeah, people seem to like that Braces film. I definitely recommend watching it. I mean, it's pretty silly, awkward comedy is kind of.
Okay.
And then Blur was made by the same writer and director. That one's kind of like it's basically like a drama. So we went comedy and then drama. That one's currently, I think, also going through the festival circuit right now. So that one's kind of cool. My character is essentially I'm playing a woman who is kind of going out and having a fling with a guy, and he's not really what he seems, and it gets a little creepy, uncomfortable, and so. But it's kind of a little like it's almost kind of a thriller in a way, I guess you could say. Kind of like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen?
Okay. Now, what are some of the techniques or things that you do in order to prepare a character?
So yes. So I'm really glad we get to talk about this because I personally really love Uta Hagen and Stella Adler. They're two famous, well-known acting coaches, and they basically, I mean, Stanislavski was like your OG acting technique, which I still use a lot of his techniques too, but I've kind of broken off into Uta Hagen and Stella Adler, which are just my two favorite, I guess you could say like technique schools, but I mean, they're kind of just, they've been like coaches and stuff, so I don't know if you can consider them like schools of acting. I guess you could actually, but I've trained under Howard Fine, and he's down in LA, and he emphasizes a lot of Uta Hagen actually in his technique. I actually have this book, it's actually right over there, but it's the Howard Fine acting technique book. I actually kind of bring it to me with every set I go on, and I actually use pretty much his technique to prepare for a lot of my auditions and my character work. I do a lot of homework on my character. He does a lot of like vision board type things where you take photos of your character's your character's life and like people you're talking to and things, and you kind of create this little vision board of your character's life so you can actually live and think like that character. You do a lot of homework, you know, like where did I grow up, who am I, all those things. And you really, like, sometimes I'll have pages of notes about my character, just like, who am I, you know, what do I do for a living? Like, for example, this Love After Life shoot, I created a whole backstory for my character. So I do a lot of homework for my characters, which I learned a lot of that technique from Howard Fine specifically, and he emphasizes his own technique, but also Uta Hagen. And then I also just personally really love Stella Adler because she emphasizes a lot on the imagination, which I really love. Using my imagination and putting myself in certain scenarios as that character, and how would I react to that, you know? So
cool. Wow. Now, what might be difficult for new actors to do when they have to prepare a character? What do you think that could be difficult to them?
Well, it can be kind of daunting, all the homework you have to do to prepare a character. So, I mean, if, you know, as a new actor, I definitely have noticed over time that when I started, I definitely didn't get as deep or build as many layers or do as much homework. So maybe for a new actor, I feel like it could be potentially a little daunting or overwhelming, or you might not know where to start or what kind of questions to ask. I know that a lot of new actors have issues with memorizing lines, or they just get too focused on memorizing the lines and they forget to, you know, do the work. Like, what's the need for saying these lines? Why am I saying these lines? What kind of images are attached to them? And that's how you can memorize. You don't really memorize, like, you can, but you also think, you know, I'm talking to this person and why do I need to tell them this? And once you have that down, why am I here, what am I doing, who am I, then it'll help you a lot in your scene and being alive. And Howard calls it spontaneous life, which is just pretty much that's the good stuff, you know.
Yeah, like that. Now, what would you say it's an important aspect for storytelling?
An important aspect for storytelling? Well, I would say, you know, like, I would say being connected to the characters. So, like, as an actor, you know, I'm not much of a writer. I want to get more into writing. But as an actor, I need to be connected to my character and my scene partners as well and their characters. I like to do a little bit of script analysis and try to understand the story and, you know, build my own backstory on top of it. So that way I can really just, I want to bring myself as the character to the story in order to help tell that story, you know, from my I guess my job as the actor is to be able to connect and be able to bring it to life, so to speak.
Wow. Now, you also do voiceover. So tell me, how did you start it and what made you want to start doing it?
So voiceover, I started by, actually, my friend William, who I mentioned earlier, had cast me in that cool little that audio drama on the contrary, and that was I think that was my first voiceover gig, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
And I got a mic for it, a pop screen and all that stuff, and I just kind of started small and just had a lot of fun. And then I started doing a little bit of video game work from my friend Leo, and I honestly really like character voiceover a lot. I feel like it's very different. It's, nobody's seeing your face or anything. You get really, like, your body can get really into it. You don't have to worry about how you look, I guess. And you could just, like, be really silly or really, like, funny with characters. And I do a lot of auditioning for, like, commercial voiceover and instructional videos and stuff. And I don't have a lot of experience with that other than auditioning for it. But I've been told that my voice is very, like, character-like or video game like I'm less of the person you probably want to be reading instructions on how to take a medicine properly or whatever they do in commercials, and more of the person you want to hear in a video game. So that's kind of the stuff I like. Not that I'm not open to the other things, but I really enjoy playing characters. So I like video games myself. I grew up playing a lot of video games, and I still play sometimes, not as often because I'm very busy with acting and jujitsu, but I love the thought of just, like, being able to voice a character in a video game and be that character. I'm also a little bit interested in motion capture, which I have not done any of yet, but I want to learn.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. Now we will see also on your website that you have been involved in a lot of voiceover projects, such as Veil, Dawn of Rose, Kaharia, On the Contrary, David Miscavage, audio stage play. So tell me about those projects too, and what are some of the things that you enjoy the most about doing voiceover?
So yeah, the On the Contrary I mentioned for my friend William. That one was just hilarious. It almost feels kind of like a comedy skit, but it's a voiceover. So that one's on YouTube. You should totally watch it. It's pretty silly. That one was, I just got to kind of like have fun with it. Like, voiceover could just be a lot of fun. Just kind of no pressure, just have fun with it. Veil, Dawn of Rose is the video game I did work on for my friend Leo. That's really fun, actually. I've gotten to see him kind of create the video game, and I get to see my character in game, and that's just really awesome. Video game homies, yeah, Nadir! That's my friend Nadir right there. So, yeah, the video game work is really cool, and it's actually a survival horror kind of, not mystery game, like puzzle game, and it's pretty cool. So I like that kind of game. Reminds me a little bit of like Silent Hill, which is one of my favorite games. Kajaria, that one was a webcomic, actually, which was a lot of fun because I got to be on set actually in a voiceover studio, because usually I do it from home in my closet or whatever, but that one was really sweet because I was actually in a studio and I got to go in and like be there. That was really cool. So that was a really unique experience. And then the Davide Miscavage stage play, that one was also from my friend William, and it was really I was just looking at there's like pop-ups, and I see my friend Shamar. Hey Shamar. So that one was just really long. Like, I'm so proud of my friend William for creating that. It took him a whole year, and there were just tons of people involved. It's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's a play, but like an audio play. It's really sweet. Yeah. Okay. Good one.
Okay. Yeah. Now, it is so interesting, right? That I was having this conversation yesterday, actually. That the fact that back in the day, with the whole video games and everything, the voice acting was just, I mean, it was just not connecting. You know what I mean? That the dialogue sometimes it would be kind of funny or wouldn't make any sense at all. And now it is so interesting that with technology now and with improvement of consoles and softwares and everything, and they're like companies that will put like more effort, into like the whole casting for the actors, like a really good dialogue, voice acting, motion capture, to make it feel like more real, but at the same time, like to make it more immersive. You know what I mean? And I think that is one of the things that I personally, I do enjoy the most about the whole gaming now. That they give now, like they are putting like a lot more effort to make the game like more immersive though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hi Daryl. Daryl said hi, so I just want to say hello. I agree. Games nowadays are almost like movies that you play. One of my favorite games, actually, since we're talking about games, I love gaming. Is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, so good.
That's
so
my
good.
jam. Yeah,
actually,
that's
part
my
of
game.
what inspires me so much to do motion capture, because I do want to try that out. I haven't tried it out yet, and also just voiceover. Like, oh my gosh, oh man, that is such a good game. I got so into that game, it just hooked me immediately. Just the cutscenes alone, I would never ever, like, I wanted all the content in that game. And I mean, honestly, the acting is so brilliant, the voice acting. I mean, actually, when you said what you said about how technology and just like the casting process, it's like that's what I was drawn to. I was just thinking, yeah, like Horizon Zero Dawn is just brilliantly done. Like the casting, I mean, everything is perfect. I love that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is so cool. It is so cool, and the fact that they're putting like more effort to it, that is something that, well, that we, the people who buy those games, we can appreciate that they're delivering us like more playable, like more immersive characters, and not like the classic dialogue that you wouldn't understand anything and you would be like, what? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think back to like playing Nintendo 64, which also is a great console, and I love the games from it, but it's just a different world. Gaming is a different world, you know?
Yeah, there's actually one game from Nintendo 64 that was like the one that was during like my whole childhood, was Conquer Bad for Day.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was like, I think, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think that is like one of the games that has like a very cool voice acting, you know?
It does. No, they did great. They nailed it. I mean, honestly, it was pretty, in my opinion, I think it was, I would say, like, pretty revolutionary for its time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love that game. I mean, I know that it's super old now, but I remember that when I like the first time I played it, I was just like, like mind blowing. Like, what? Like you got the squirrel who's cursing, drinking, like do all kind of stuff here, and movie references, that they were taking like throughout the whole game.
Matrix. Oh yeah, it was epic. I mean, I felt the same way. I was like, what is going on? I mean, honestly, I played that game way too young. I played that game when I was probably like, oh man, probably like 7 or 8. I started playing.
Yeah. Same thing here. Yeah, I remember that I was like leaving that. Yeah, done with school, and then as soon as I got home, I was like focusing playing that game over.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's a really good one.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say I'm another N64 game I love is Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
All the games. Actually naming my service dog Zelda after Zelda. So
that's so cool. Yeah, they actually released very cool games back then, like Zelda or like the second one they released was Majora's Mask.
Yeah, so good.
That was also really a really cool one. Yeah, those were cool games.
They were epic, for sure.
Now, if you could do the voiceover for any movie, TV show, or even a video game, like right now, which one you would choose?
That's tough. Just voiceover we're talking, right?
Yeah.
I would say, you know what? I would want to play like a major character in World of Warcraft because that's my most favorite game ever. I actually have a whole sleeve down my arm of World of Warcraft tattoo.
Oh.
I played that game. That game stole years of my life. Like, I just loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, Conquerors. Oh, yes. Nadira is saying that Conquerors stretched the limits of gaming and censorship.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I even think that game was way ahead of its time.
I agree completely.
I do hear a story. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but back when they were like, I don't know if you ever played like what was this game? Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh yeah.
Remember that there was Conquer there, but he was like a very, like cute little squirrel with a very quick voice and everything, And like one time I was reading about this, and that the designers for Nintendo, they were pushing like a game for Conquer, and there's actually on YouTube you can see like what were kind of the first steps of Conquer that it was like totally different the one that we got. Wow. And apparently what ended up happening here is that because they were like pushing them like way too hard, they were like, yeah, okay, let's play like that. So they redesigned the whole game. They didn't tell anybody, and then they just released it. And then when everybody knew like what kind of game that was, I mean, too late,
Right. Oh,
It was
that's
so
funny.
cool. It was so cool. The boss fights they were like also like super brilliant. Brilliant. I remember this boss fight which you will fight with this big huge amount of poo.
Oh, that's the best. Oh my
You
god.
know, and you have to drop like toilet papers. That was so
Yeah,
cool.
that's so funny. Like as a kid, that's like, I mean, that game is just, oh man. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, what is going on? It was so
Yeah,
fun.
that is. Yeah. I can say that too. You know, yeah. Those were the days though. Now,
Oh,
talking about your modeling career now. So tell me, what were some like what have been some of the places that you enjoyed the most while you were doing like a photo shoot?
well, I frequently model at the Art and Makeup School in Lake Oswego, Oregon. They do a beauty course, but they also do a special effects course. I've mostly modeled for their special effects course, which is so much fun. I mean, their students are so talented. I know one of the photos that you shared for promo, that Sea Goddess one. Yeah, that was from there. They have really talented photographers come in, really talented. I mean, their students, like I said, are just so well trained. You get to be a lot of really cool characters. They do a lot of special effects. I also have a picture of me on my Instagram that's clown makeup, special effects. I had to have a prosthetic over my nose, couldn't breathe out of my nose for a little while. Yeah, so that's like an experience of a lifetime, being able to do special effects modeling. I want to keep doing it. I also have gone to Maryhill Stonehenge up in Washington, which is just this like really cool Stonehenge little thing up there, and I did some fantasy modeling up there with like a sword, and that was a lot of fun. That's kind of like classic photo shoot for me. I think actually my Instagram icon or whatever, profile picture, whatever you call it, I think that's me holding the sword.
Yeah, that's badass, by the way. That looks
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. That was a really good shoot. I'm actually doing a shoot Wednesday with a really awesome photographer. He Lance Allen Reese, I think that's how you say his name. I think my buddy Billy Dunstan was just in here. He did the Aquaman. He did like an Aquaman shoot. That he reprised that role like so well in his photo shoots. So that's the photographer who did it. He's extremely talented. He's been featured in a lot of. He's been featured on news, and just he's really really talented. So I'm super stoked to work with him. I'm going to be doing a fantasy photo shoot. It's going to be kind of like an elvish adventure as well.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And then there's some photo shoots I've done recently that I can't talk about yet because they've been accepted to be in an international magazine, and they don't want me to share the details until the launch party. But you stay tuned for those because they're going to be pretty cool. Let's see. That's my friend Carissa. Special effects makeups were so cool. Oh yes, Sea Goddess was legend.
Totally agree on that. How cool is that? Now, how you usually prepare for a photo shoot, and what do you usually do after?
Well, to prepare, I mean, get a good night's rest the night before for sure. Because I mean, I know modeling probably looks easy sometimes when you see those beautiful photos, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
So get a good night's rest. Self-care, super important. Stay hydrated. That's extremely important. Whatever, everybody's body's different, but if you're kind of like the person who needs a breakfast to function, just eat a nice, well-balanced, healthy breakfast. Stay, keep that water throughout the day. Sometimes if you're doing a lot of posing with your face and stuff, hi Kendall. Sometimes if you're doing a lot of like posing with your face, you can get like tense face muscles and like, headache a little bit. So sometimes after a shoot, I'll do like a little like face massage for myself because I need it because my muscles are just tense. And also just after a photo shoot, it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of an ordeal, like a full day. Like even if it's not a full day, it's just like a really big thing for me. I'm like, yeah, photo shoot, I put my all into it. I'm kind of just trying to relax for the most part for the rest of the night. I usually probably have makeup all over my face. Probably go home, clean up my makeup, take a nice hot shower, have dinner, just kind of chill for the rest of the night, let my face relax, all that good stuff, self-care.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, what advice could you give to future models?
Future models. So, you know, we all start somewhere. You know, just embrace who you are. If you're different, that's totally okay. Like, that's a good thing. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to be like this cookie cutter, what do you call it? Like, stereotypical, like, just, you don't have to fit in a box. You know, you can just be your own person. It doesn't matter, you know, shape, size, whatever, you know, just love yourself. And the more you love yourself and the more you project that love out there, I think the more successful you'll be. Because I mean, like, I'm not a standard model. I mean, I'm 5'5". Like, I know that's not short, but in the model world, it's considered short. You know, and I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you know, you can't be represented by this agency because you're short, or, you know, you have braces, or like you have a lazy eye, which I do. I actually have a disability, which I've been blind in my right eye since birth, so I do have a little bit of a lazy eye. But, you know, screw it. Like, who cares? Just be yourself. You're beautiful the way you are. And if somebody doesn't like you, screw them. Like, somebody will come along that appreciates you for not trying to be something you're not. So just play to your strengths, both in acting and modeling. You know, like, highlight your differences, your unique features that make you you, that make people want to see you. And you know, just love yourself. It's really hard sometimes. Like, for me, it's really difficult. But just don't put too much pressure on yourself, and remember to take care of yourself, because that's so important. And don't stretch yourself thin.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I do agree that the key here is just to be yourself. I mean, it's obvious that you can't please everybody, right? And if you focus on trying to do that, like to please everybody, I do believe that at some point it's just gonna be, you're gonna lose yourself. You know, it's not gonna be you anymore. It's gonna be like a creation of something that is not real. You know, so.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I mean, you definitely can't please everybody. I mean, like, I've made people mad just by, you know, doing pretty much nothing. Like, just by getting a publication in a magazine that somebody didn't like, they just were like, oh, you know, like, some people just get mad or whatever, and it's a reflection on them, not you.
Totally.
You know, you're not responsible for other people's, you know, like, distress or whatever. I mean, they have their own problems they're working through, and you don't have to take on that burden and make it yours.
Yeah, absolutely on that. Yeah. Now, if you could describe your career at the moment in a movie, TV show, or even a video game, why not? What would be the title of it?
So I'm titling my career as a movie or a video game?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting question. I have to think. Interesting. I would say I want to come up with something really creative, but I would. I'm gonna think on that for another minute or so.
Okay.
Like, I gotta really. That's a really unique question. I have to really think about that one. What would I call it?
All right. Now, what can we expect from Crystal in the future?
Ooh, what can you expect from me? Let's see. Well, I'm really hoping to be able to share some pretty sweet photos soon. Like I said, I've got that really cool photo shoot on Wednesday with that awesome photographer. I really can't wait to share that one with you guys, because that one I'll just share right to Instagram and stuff, probably. I've got some other photo shoots I've done recently that I'm waiting for the release of the magazine, and then I'll be sharing those with you guys too. Those are going to be really sweet. I'll give you a little hint. Basically the theme is, like, I'll say, like, darkness versus light, so two sides of the same person. So you see me as, like, more of like in a dark scenario, and then me in like a light, flowery, bright scenario, and it's like it shows you both sides that I can play, I guess, in like a movie or in a photo shoot. It's like I can play both a dark or a light, kind of. So that's kind of the theme of it. So that'll be coming out. And then I've got some stuff going through the festival circuit, hoping to release clips from things at some point when I get the okay, you know. It's always like pretty tight on lock until it's like, oh, it's released. Or so it's like that's one frustrating thing about being a creative in general, is a lot of times you can't release your stuff until they say, oh, we're ready to release this. So yeah, it's just I've got some things coming up, and I'm hoping I can get them all out to you guys, because I'm just really stoked for you to see what I'm up to, because I've
That's
been
so
up
cool.
a lot, but a lot of it I haven't really talked about. So
No, that's so cool. I can't wait. I mean, I'm super sure that we all can't wait to see more of it. You know?
oh, thanks. I really appreciate that, and I honestly appreciate everybody for watching too, and just all the support I'm getting. And I just want to keep at it, you know.
Yeah. Now, my last question here is: any advice to those who recently started following their dreams?
Any advice? Well, the only way that you won't get to where you want to go is if you give up. So don't give up. You know, it's going to be hard, especially in a career like this. I mean, a lot of careers can be really difficult, especially if you've been doing one thing and you completely 180 to another thing. It's a big, you're starting from nothing essentially. So it's going to be tough, but find a support system and don't give up, because if you give up, then you won't get where you want to go. Just keep grinding, and I think the ones who make it are the ones who just really keep at it, and don't expect things to happen overnight, you know, because it's more of a long-term goal. It's a marathon, not a sprint, you know.
Yeah,
so don't get discouraged. It's really important. Also, I've said this in other interviews. I've said this in both on podcasts and just in written interviews, that it's important to find things you love outside of just your career. So if you're an actor or a model, find other things you enjoy too, because a lot of the times you might be waiting in between jobs or whatever, and you don't want to get too hung up on when am I going to book the next thing, or you got to keep yourself occupied in a healthy way. And then there's also the fact that, you know, you can create your own stuff. You don't have to wait for somebody to cast you in something. You can decide to make your own show. You can decide to go on TikTok or Instagram and make your own reels. Yeah. You can make your own photo shoot ideas. Like, I pretty much come up with most of my photo shoot ideas. I say, I want to be this thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to find a photographer that wants to do it. I'm going to find a makeup artist, and I'm just going to make it happen. Like, I'm not going to wait for somebody to give me the okay to create.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, at the end of the day, Crystal, what can I say? I mean, you're super awesome here. The fact that we finished the questions, I need to give you an epic shout out. So you deserve that and a lot more. I know that. Also, again, thank you so much for being here. It is so cool to know about your career, like how much passion you put into it, and that's really impressive and at the same time inspiring. And I do think that everybody who is watching this right now or watching this later can totally agree on that you are super inspiring here, and that you are hustling in a very epic in a very epic way. So keep doing it, because you're killing it. And also, thank you so much for those who tune in. If you're watching this later on the YouTube video or listening on the podcast, make sure that you are following Crystal in all over social media. Normally, what I would say is for you to put pause, hydrate, then leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot here it helps a lot our show. And then follow Crystal, leave 1 million likes here and there, support all of her content, and then definitely come back. And again, Crystal, thank you so much. I can't wait to see more of your awesome content in the future. Hopefully we will see a lot more, and I'm super sure even in video games, why not? Movies, like all of these epic franchises one day, I'm super sure of it. But in the meantime, keep having an amazing rest of the day. And before I send you off, I need to send you off in an epic way. So
epicness. Thank you so much, Dan. You were awesome. And you know what? I still want to think on that question, because I want to give you a really proper, well thought out answer. So I will message you the response at some point. I'm just going to think on it. But, you know, you are awesome. You've been such a pleasure to talk to. And I just super appreciate you inviting me on to talk. And this has really been cool. And sounds like we have a lot in common. And we should do this again sometime. Definitely keep in touch. And I'm so rooting for you. Keep up the podcast, because you are fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It really helped. I do appreciate that a lot. That means a lot to me. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one then.
Yes, I'll see you around, my friend.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you, Carissa. Thank you, everyone, for watching, too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.